Pandemic. Your questions answered here.
A mother's first words to her newborn, separated from her baby for 25 days after mom contracted COVID-19 and struggled to breathe. That mom, Iris Nolasco, underwent an emergency C-section at a Brooklyn hospital and recovered completely alone, now experiencing the touch of her baby for the very first time. Life or death choices. We're learning more about the potential treatment option involving blood plasma and the gut-wrenching decision one daughter had to make, which parent would get plasma.
If I would have lost either one of them, it would have been like half my world gone.
States continue to grapple with how to reopen and if it's safe. New York's governor and President Trump meeting today inside the White House as cases continue to rise nationwide. And why now? It's the question many have tonight about President Trump's announcement to temporarily suspend immigration into the U.S. Will it really protect American jobs? Plus, the latest on that potential next round of a stimulus package. And the never-ending journey home. We'll meet some of the people who've been stuck in travel purgatory, stranded by the coronavirus, unable to return home for months.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. It's been a busy day in Washington, and we are continuing, of course, to track this deadly pandemic. Another 2,000 lives lost in a single day. But we start off tonight with a story of heartbreak turned to hope about just how invasive this virus can get, and quickly. Imagine not one, but both parents are rushed to the hospital, and you, their child, are tasked with making an unbearable decision of choosing just one of them to get plasma therapy to try to improve their condition. Tonight, as the race to find a cure and treatment continues, a call to action for those who have beaten COVID-19. Your plasma has real potential to save lives. Our Kaylee Hartung leads us off with this ABC News Live exclusive about hope, science, and resilience.
No vaccine yet, no magic drug, no miracle cure.
It was like one hit me and then the other. And so by that night, I was pretty an emotional wreck.
The harsh cruelties of coronavirus can hit families incredibly quickly.
If I would have lost either one of them, it would have been like half my world gone.
With both of your parents on ventilators, could you imagine that we would have been having this conversation now?
No.
One after another, within 24 hours, both of Heather Griffin's parents went into the ICU and were quickly put on ventilators.
I lost my communication with them. So I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't see them. It was heartbreaking. I cried for 2 days because I was so scared.
Connie and Marvin Griffin have been married for 33 years.
She's like the glue to the family. My dad's a big jokester. He's a big prankster.
They rarely leave each other's side. After raising 2 kids, they were enjoying being grandparents to Heather's 4-year-old daughter when they both fell ill, leaving their family desperate for a lifeline.
Dr. Cologne had called me and offered up the plasma treatment for her.
Doctors are trying to rapidly determine whether plasma from people who have beat COVID-19 can be donated to help people who are sick.
We're drawing antibodies from people who have gone over this infection, essentially passing that immunity over to the patients that are going through this infection to be able to help them fight off the virus.
The immune system produces antibodies to help fight viruses. 3 to 4 weeks after a person recovers from coronavirus, their plasma, which is the yellow part of our blood, can be drawn to see if it has those coveted antibodies. If it does, those antibodies can be injected into someone else's body who may be struggling to produce them. The treatment, known as convalescent plasma, was first used to combat the Spanish flu in 1918.
Thus far with plasma, and from all the history that we have seen with this therapy, it appears that it is much more likely to help than it is to harm when used correctly.
Dr. Roberto Colon leads the team pioneering this possible treatment at Premier Health Systems in Dayton, Ohio. His hospital, one of the first in the country to use the FDA-authorized plasma test protocols. They use the methods developed by the Mayo Health Clinic.
In a span of about 2 weeks, we were able to bring an idea of convalescent plasma all the way from concept to actual implementation and widespread use for an entire community.
While Dr. Colon's team was racing to implement the program, the calls for donors began circulating on social media.
I just answered like this little flyer that I saw on Facebook.
Lindsay Heiko is an ER nurse in Cincinnati. She's among the 80% of people who get coronavirus, only experience mild symptoms, and recover fairly quickly.
Being an ER nurse, I feel like I should have been out there and I should have been at work and I should be helping everybody. So it was nice that I could do this.
She made the 1-hour drive to Dayton's Community Blood Bank and became just the second recovered COVID patient to donate plasma there. Those valuable 2 hours at the clinic had the potential to change 4 patients' lives.
And from the time that that collection is done until processing, we're usually able to infuse it by as early as the next day.
The question, who would receive the blood bank's first shipment of plasma? With both parents on ventilators, Heather felt like she was faced with an unimaginable choice.
My first question was, like, how am I supposed to pick between my mom and my dad?
Marvin was responding well to a rather simple treatment plan, being rotated onto his stomach. It's called prone positioning, and it helps increase the amount of oxygen that can get to a patient's lungs. So the decision was made. Connie would receive the experimental treatment.
The signs that this treatment is working will typically be that within 72 hours or so, we start seeing clinical improvement for these patients.
What was your reaction when you learned of the decision that your children had to make?
I was very overwhelmed that they had to make that decision. But happy that she had the strength to do it.
Connie had the incredible strength to talk with us just 2 weeks after the plasma transfusion that may have saved her life.
Do you think you'd be where you are today if it wasn't for that plasma treatment?
No, I don't know that I'd have made it without that treatment.
6 days after receiving the plasma, Connie was taken off the ventilator. 9 patients at Premier Health have now received convalescent plasma therapy.
We have been seeing glimmers of hope that this is working. We want to make sure that we hold that judgment until we get the aggregate data.
Access to this experimental treatment is not as easy to get throughout the country as it is in Dayton. The Mayo Clinic telling ABC News the country needs more donors and more distribution of plasma. Nearly 1,500 hospitals nationwide are participating in Mayo's program. Doctors believe this treatment could help at least 1,200 patients right now, but only 25% of them have actually received a transfusion.
So this is an interesting disease because the more people that become afflicted, the more potential donors we have. As we get more of those people getting over this disease.
As more and more people nationwide join the ranks of the recovered, the hope is blood clinics and hospitals are ready to handle an influx of heroes like Lindsay. She wants to donate once a week, as long as she has the antibodies that can help.
So you just feel hopeless and like there's nothing that you can do about it. Please go out and donate your plasma because there's so much that we can do about it.
Lindsay will never know whose lives her plasma helped save. Most plasma donations remain anonymous, but she says that's okay. Because Lindsay and Connie both got involved in Premier's plasma program so early, there's a 50-50 chance Lindsay's plasma went to Connie.
I know that you don't know who your donor is, but if you could give that person a message, what would you say to them?
I was so thankful that you gave the donation of life, because that's what it was for me. And if they hadn't donated, then I wouldn't have had the possibility. I just thank them very much.
They don't know what they've given back to me, because for a moment, I really thought I was losing half my world.
Over the weekend, Marvin, strong enough to go home.
I'm only here to be hugged. I ain't seen you forever.
Greeted by his granddaughter with a question.
Where's Mama?
Where's Mama? Now they'll wait together for Connie to return.
Hopefully for too long, I'll get to come see you.
Yes.
Connie, what's the first thing you want to do when you get out of that hospital?
Go sit on the front porch somewhere. Sit outside. Some fresh air. Some sunshine. And just be with my family.
Love you.
Love you.
I'll see you later.
To see my husband and my kids and my granddaughter will be the most wonderful thing.
You blew Mama kisses? Oh, thank you.
No.
You tell her how you love her?
I love you.
I love you so much.
What a sweet story. I just got goosebumps. Kaylee joins us now. Kaylee, how's Connie doing?
Lindsay, I just got an update from Heather. 19 days after Connie was put on a ventilator fighting for her life, just 2 weeks after she received that plasma treatment, today she tested negative for COVID-19. She has rehab and therapy ahead of her, but she is one step closer to getting back on her front porch and with her family.
Just wonderful news. So sweet seeing her talking with her granddaughter. So let's drill down for a moment on these treatments, though. It's still being studied, and there's still not enough donors at this point.
That's right. When you hear the Mayo Clinic say there aren't enough donors, it gets us back to the conversation about the lack of testing in this country. Right now, if you don't have a confirmed case of COVID-19, you're not even eligible to donate. So that takes us to a new conversation we're having about the prevalence of these antibody tests. Now, critics are saying there are a lot of them on the market that haven't been proven reliable, but if we can successfully identify all of the people who have antibodies to this virus and didn't even know they had it in the first place, well, that tremendously increases the pool of people who could potentially have a life-saving impact like you're seeing here.
So again, another example of testing being so key. And Kayla, you of course have recovered now from COVID-19 and you wanted to donate. And what happened when you tried to do that?
And so it's been a frustrating process. What you see Premier Health doing in Dayton, Ohio, they've localized the process. They're doing it quickly and efficiently because they've cut out any sort of middleman. Me being here in Los Angeles, it's been a very frustrating process. I have spent hours on the phone calling hospitals, asking how I could help, and they kept pointing me to the Red Cross. So it was more than 2.5 weeks ago, I first filled out an online donor request form on the Red Cross's website. It was just a couple of days ago that I finally got a call back. And they said now, because I am more than 28 days symptom-free, I'm eligible to donate. I am going to a blood center tomorrow, but they tell me there is still a health screening there. There is still a chance that I won't be able to help, but I am hopeful. I am so hopeful that I will be able to, Lindsay.
We'll be optimistic. Kaylee, thank you so much for bringing us that story. We appreciate it. Turning now to the broader fight against the coronavirus as the nation's leaders look for solutions. President Trump and New York's Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo, the two New Yorkers often seen at odds with each other, they sat down together today at the White House as we see more images of Americans in just desperate need. Look at this line of cars at a food bank outside Dayton, Ohio. Hundreds of vehicles at a University Arena's parking lot, most people waiting 2 to 3 hours just to get into that lot, and of course clogging up traffic in the area. And there are new warnings that a deadly second wave of the virus could happen as states debate how and when they should reopen. Our Whit Johnson has the very latest.
Tonight, as America considers its future beyond the pandemic, Chaplain Rocky Walker of Mount Sinai Hospital in New York warns of a second wave of suffering.
And that is a wave of depression, exhaustion, and weariness on the part of the healthcare workers themselves.
The chaplain witnesses doctors and nurses giving everything to this fight.
I see God in their reaction, their response.
their courage, their faith.
And today, a shining example of what healthcare workers are doing in this crisis. A precious delivery inside Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn. We first met Iris Nolasco 2 weeks ago, diagnosed with COVID-19, then separated from her newborn baby girl after an emergency C-section.
I just hope that I'll be, able to hold her and then just protect her.
Today, mother and daughter reunited. A new chapter for little Isabella Michelle.
Can I touch? That is yours, go for it.
Relief after 25 days apart.
You can explain how much it hurts knowing that you have a baby and you cannot hug her.
Today, New York's Bryant Park with this message of thanks on its empty lawn for all essential workers. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo acknowledging the number in his state are heading in the right direction.
Our calculus of good, our definition of good has changed here. Good is now not terrible.
Today, Cuomo heading to Washington to lobby President Trump on the one thing so many governors and health officials call key to reopening: stepped-up testing. A new Harvard study shows the U.S. needs to conduct between 5 and 20 million tests per day. So far, there have only been 4 million tests total. Cuomo says New York labs are ready and waiting, but he needs the president's help to get testing supplies.
You shouldn't expect all these governors to go run around and do an international supply chain.
Even as New York comes down the mountain, other states still bracing for the worst. In Illinois, the governor saying the state won't hit its peak until mid-May. Cases still surging in Massachusetts, the death toll climbing to more than 1,500.
The data shows we're still very much in the grips of a pandemic.
But 3 southern states are making aggressive moves to reopen, though none of them are reporting a steady 2-week decline in cases as the White House guidelines recommend. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp facing a local backlash for his ambitious plan to open gyms, hair salons, and bowling alleys on Friday, some movie theaters and restaurants next week.
When we have more people moving around, we're probably going to see our cases continue to go up. But we're a lot better prepared for that now than we were over a month ago.
Kemp now taking heat from mayors from Albany.
I pray that the number of Georgians who are infected and die will not increase significantly in the coming weeks as a result of the lifting of these restrictions.
To Atlanta.
I certainly cannot in good conscience say that I agree with his order, and I will continue to use my voice as mayor of Atlanta to ask people to continue to stay home, follow the science, and exercise common sense.
But some business owners like Shannon Stafford, who owns a beauty salon in Savannah, are desperate to reopen.
It's just a scary situation all the way across the board. But we're in a situation where we have to work.
In neighboring South Carolina, Senator Lindsey Graham tweeting, "I worry that our friends and neighbors in Georgia are going too fast, too soon," adding, "What happens in Georgia will impact us in South Carolina." But South Carolina is easing restrictions too. Beachgoers allowed back to the shores, people grouping together with chairs and coolers.
It's showtime!
Some businesses opening their doors to eager customers with social distancing limits. In Washington tonight, word Congress has struck a deal on a $484 billion plan to help the economic recovery, including new loans for small businesses, plus more money for hospitals and testing.
There have been some big businesses that have taken these loans. I was pleased to see that Shake Shack returned the money.
Obviously, Shake Shack was not alone in being a big company that got money in this. Are you going to be
I'm going to request. You're
going to ask them to return that money?
Yep.
And Whit Johnson joins us now. Whit, what more can you tell us about this new warning of a second wave of the virus? What's the CDC saying?
Lindsay, the CDC director saying in an interview with the Washington Post that a potential second wave would be even more devastating because it would coincide with the seasonal flu, and that would further strain the healthcare system. Now, Dr. Deborah Birx of the White House Coronavirus Task Force was just asked about this in the briefing. She said if there is a rebound later in the year, we would be better prepared to notice those early warning signals. Lindsay?
All right, Whit Johnson for us again tonight. Whit, thanks so much. And now to Washington, where after a long delay today, the Senate passed a $310 billion boost to the small business fund that had run out of money, and an additional $100 billion for hospitals and testing efforts on the front lines of the pandemic. That comes as President Trump faces backlash over that tweet last night where he declared, in light of the attack from the invisible enemy, as well as the need to protect the jobs of our great American citizens, I'll be signing an executive order to temporarily suspend immigration into the United States. So what does this all mean? For more on this, let's bring in ABC's Terry Moran in Washington. So, Terry, let's start with the president on immigration. What do we know about what's being proposed for this executive order? And what does taking this action have to do with the coronavirus pandemic, actually?
Well, first, Lindsay, what this order does is ban for 60 days the entrance into the United States of foreigners who are seeking green cards. Those are usually spouses of U.S. citizens. Green cards give you lawful permanent residence in the United States. So you're talking about spouses, immediate relatives, and other people who are already well qualified to be in the United States. What this order does not do, and this is President Trump backing down from that tweet a little bit last night, is it does not ban foreigners entering as tourists, as students, or as foreigners entering for temporary work visas to take jobs. The president says he's trying to protect American jobs at a time when so many people are losing them, and there's no question that he can do that. This is an old power that presidents have to address pandemics around the world. It dates from the late 19th century and has been codified in American law. The question people will have is this being done to protect American jobs, even though people who will have temporary work visas can take jobs here for years, perhaps? Or is this the president trying to advance his agenda to restrict even legal immigration? That's something he's talked about. And is he weaponizing this virus to do that? That's the discussion that people will have going forward. But right now, it applies to those people who are trying to enter the country from foreign lands and seeking lawful permanent residence, a green card in the United States.
And the Senate, of course, passed that additional funding today, but no one thinks that this will be the last bill needed to support the economy. Senator McConnell raised concerns about the debt today. How significant is that after the massive spending that we've seen in the last few weeks?
You know, it's breathtaking. The United States has not gone into debt like this, spent money like this, red ink spilled like this since World War II, and it's something similar, right? The question when you have spending like this is, what are you getting for it? In World War II, we won the war. We spent a gigantic amount of money, far beyond our means at that time, and defeated both the Nazis and the Japanese. Here, President Trump likes to call this the invisible enemy. Economists say this is kind of one-time spending. You have to try to keep the economy on life support, help companies survive. That will help the rebound. If you don't do it, you won't get it. Interest rates are low. We can afford it. The question that Mitch McConnell's comment raises is if there's a change in party, if Joe Biden wins the election in November, will we hear Republicans all of a sudden talking about deficit spending? President Trump came into office as the deficit was declining. It's about $400 billion. He's more than doubled it. It's $1.1 trillion. That's before the coronavirus crisis. There's been an ocean of red ink already spilled. It is going to be a much bigger task ahead to pay it down. But most economists at this point, and Republicans and Democrats, are united in saying we need it.
Yeah,
Lindsay?
Trying to win a very different kind of war this time. Terry, thank you so much. And when we come back, the Louisiana pastor who refused to close his church during the pandemic, well, he's now facing new charges, and those could be a lot more serious. Plus, new reports of COVID-19 cases directly tied to in-person voting in Wisconsin. And after being stranded for months overseas, we bring you the stories of some Americans who are finally making their way back home. But first, here are some of the trending stories on abcnews.com.
COVID-19. What can you do to help protect yourself? Where can you get your questions answered? The new daily podcast from ABC News with Dr. Jennifer Ashton and a team of experts. Listen free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
We move up to the vehicle. He detonates a bomb.
The heroes who stopped the killer
who held the city of Austin hostage for 19 days.
It's a tripwire. All hands on deck.
The clues, the Home Depot video, that truck, and the agent who connected the dots.
It was exactly the vehicle that we were looking for.
Inside the investigation,
Vans made contact.
the takedown of the bomber. Now streaming on Hulu.
Right now, how do you make sense of it all? Now, afternoons on ABC, one place with the good information you need.
We are all in this together, and we're going to get through this together.
Pandemic, what you need to know. Afternoons at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC.
We are now more than a month into our national state of emergency from the coronavirus, but for many Americans stranded overseas since the global pandemic spread, the journey to get home has been never-ending as nations locked down and travel was restricted before they could make their way back to the U.S. Gio Benitez has the story of several Americans who have now made it home and those still stranded.
Tonight, months into the worldwide pandemic, thousands of Americans are still stranded abroad, stuck in countries with closed borders or on the cruise ships where they worked, even in some cases after the paychecks stopped flowing. The State Department issuing pleas like this to stranded Americans.
They need to decide now. We're not going to continue running these chartered flights indefinitely.
Nearly 65,000 Americans already repatriated. Piedad Barrias Bird, who goes by the name Pi, is an American citizen who was stuck in Guatemala for 2 months trying to get home. She was there for her sister's wedding.
When someone says you can't go home, it does something to you.
Pi spoke to us from a hotel room in Los Angeles after United Airlines helped her get on a plane.
No one else is going to fly us out.
She and her family live in New Zealand, and her husband is not a U.S. citizen, which made it especially tough for Pi to get a U.S. airline involved.
I still can't believe it was virtually impossible to leave Guatemala as a non-USA citizen for my family. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be forgotten. We're not going to be forgotten.
You got a little emotional there. And why is that? Is it still something you feel so deeply?
When you're a mom, things change and you want to protect your family. And you feel most protected when you're at home. You're safer at home. That's the whole point right now, to not spread this. And we weren't. To be denied passage the first time was traumatic.
A desperate email to United became her golden ticket home when the company told her about a new repatriation flight. Then there are the tens of thousands of workers still aboard 124 cruise ships in U.S. waters.
As an American citizen, I should have the freedom to go home and spend this quarantine in my own home.
Matthew Gordon was one of the Americans stuck on Holland America's Volendam, a performer on the ship. Matthew telling us life aboard the Volendam is eerie. This is the casino, empty and barren. The theater is no different.
Our ship has been at sea without any contact from the outside world, really, with no guests since March 20th.
You really just want to get off this ship?
I've talked to a few people on Facebook, and a lot of people seem to think that we're on vacation. This is not a fun, frivolous thing.
Just days after this interview, Matthew was able to get off the ship because of a medical condition and is now home in Georgia. But he says other Americans are still on board. Over at Celebrity Cruises, crew members have filed a lawsuit against the company on behalf of more than 1,000 employees, alleging careless and continuous failure to protect its crew members. Julia Malim just got off the Celebrity Infinity and is now in quarantine in Georgia. A fellow crew member died on that ship earlier this month.
It just really feels like being in a prison.
Celebrity telling us it doesn't comment on pending litigation. And now, with the president's tweet that all immigration into the U.S. will be halted, new concerns for people like Arun from India. He's a permanent U.S. resident, but not a citizen, and traveled from New Jersey to India for his father's funeral in March. Now he's stuck as U.S. citizens are prioritized.
It's a difficult time because everything is locked down here.
An Amazon employee, he says the company is extending his leave through May 3rd, but still, he's worried.
It may affect my job.
Just one of thousands trying to make that long journey home. Gio Benitez for ABC News Live in New York.
Our thanks to Gio for that report. And coming up, as we mentioned, that stimulus deal should bring billions in relief to small businesses who desperately need help to stay afloat. But this time, the money could go to some of the smallest companies who got very little last time around. Plus, as the president calls to temporarily suspend immigration, a closer look at the immigration system in this country and what this could mean moving forward. And our tweet of the day, Gronk and Brady together again in Tampa Bay. Stay with us.
In times like these, the news-making events happen here. ABC News.
President Trump meeting face-to-face with one of the world's most brutal dictators, Kim Jong-un.
The president.
You trust him? I do trust him, yeah. I think he trusts me, and I trust him.
Ivanka Trump.
I have to ask you about your emails. Your father had taken Hillary Clinton to task for this.
There just is no equivalency.
So the idea of lock her up doesn't apply to you?
No.
Comey.
How strange is it for you to sit here and compare the president to a mob boss?
Very strange.
Michelle Obama.
What do you wish you could tell your pre-White House self?
Whew. Melania Trump.
Do you think there's still people there that he can't trust?
Yes.
Still working now?
Yes.
Michael Cohen.
So he's still lying?
Yes.
It's a big statement.
And now, in a year with so much on the line, we're right there.
Good evening tonight from Washington, a very busy news night.
America's #1 news source, ABC News, straightforward.
Dozens of people just rushed off this cruise ship. You guys are the front lines.
Who lives, who dies?
The Iran hostages, the 9/11 terror attack, and now this.
This is Nightline.
Nightline, when it matters most. Late night on ABC.
Now, with so much on the line, more Americans are turning to David Muir and ABC's World News Tonight than any other show. Thank you for making ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir the most watched show on all of television.
Welcome back. Late today, President Trump announced a 60-day immigration freeze for most who seek permanent legal residency in the U.S., also known as a green card. Trump said that this unprecedented move will protect Americans and their jobs during this pandemic, but he backed off his plans to also ban temporary foreign workers after business groups sounded alarms. Tonight, we take a look at immigrants in the pandemic by the numbers. Just over 1 million foreigners received green cards and became lawful permanent residents in the U.S. last year. This program will be mostly halted. 70% of green card recipients are family members, mainly spouses of U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents. The United States also issued 462,422 immigrant visas last year. Immigrants are playing key roles in the U.S. COVID-19 response. For example, 1/3 of the workers deemed essential in California, they're immigrants, according to the study by the Cato Institute. And nearly 1.7 million healthcare workers caring for COVID-19 patients in the U.S. are immigrants, according to Census Bureau data. When we come back, as we've reported, nursing homes have been some of the hardest hit places during this pandemic. We check in on a home for veterans, men and women who survived war, sacrificing so much before their battle with this devastating virus. Plus, our mental health is more important than ever during this crisis, but many communities still don't have the resources they need to deal with these kinds of issues. But actress Taraji P. Henson, she's trying to change that with a new initiative to help people cope during this difficult time. She joins us after the break.
We know coronavirus has affected so many of you.
America has changed for now. There's no question about that.
People are finding a way to come together.
What else should people know about how to care for their families through this?
And you feel it's not too late to flatten the curve.
It's not too late. When do we expect to have a vaccine?
George, we are all thinking of you, Allie, and the kids.
How are you feeling?
I feel fine, Robin. She wanted to share this message.
You know I'm feverish if I'm on national television with no makeup on.
Allie is now on the Roberts family prayer chain. Robin, how you doing? I'm loving this. Gonna keep these slippers on.
We are so
grateful that we get to do this from home.
I'm going to take the camera and turn it around. Kelly was doing prompter. You do know you're sideways, right?
It's great to see so many Americans stepping up.
All in this together.
The world coming together as one.
We're going to get through this together.
Right here with you on Good Morning America.
Across America Tuesday, several states locked in an internal tug of war between staying at home to fight the spread of the virus and getting their residents back to work. More demonstrations by residents popping up in North Carolina and Missouri as leaders in some states like South Carolina push to start reopening some of their businesses by May 1st. Today in front of the White House, protesters from a national nurses union reading the names of thousands of healthcare workers who have become infected with COVID-19.
Listen to their names and take action so more nurses don't get sick.
This in hopes of drawing attention to what they say is a continued lack of personal protective equipment. And the lack of COVID-19 testing kits and supplies is still an issue for many states. Governor Andrew Cuomo and President Trump meeting at the White House this afternoon. The governor says he's pushing for federal aid to help his state and other states streamline the supply chain for supplies and expanded testing.
We had a great talk on testing, and we have an agreement, we have an understanding on testing.
On a voice vote, the Senate has approved a bipartisan deal to add another $310 billion into the federal program that offers loans to small business owners so they can keep their employees amid the coronavirus pandemic. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell thanking Republicans for their work on the Paycheck Program Increase Act.
Well, because unless we get our economy up and running again, there's not any way we can spend enough to continue to prop up the country.
The mystery surrounding North Korean leader Kim Jong-un deepening. He was last seen in public 10 days ago. He missed the celebration of his grandfather's birthday on April 15th. Rumors now swirling he had heart surgery and was gravely ill. But South Korea intelligence says it has no evidence that's true. President Trump late today said, quote, "We don't know," and wished him well. Happy birthday to Queen Elizabeth, turning 94 years young. The Queen isolating with Prince Philip at Windsor Castle. The royal family, including Prince Harry and Meghan, joining on a Zoom call. The Queen shared rare footage of her as a little girl with her family, playing with her sister, Princess Margaret.
Welcome back. As Republicans and Democrats reach a deal on a new round of stimulus aid, the question many potential aid recipients are now asking, will we get it this time? With restaurants at the top of the list of hardest hit industries struggling to stay afloat even in good times, the answer to that basic question seems to be in short supply. The first round of funds ran out quickly, with smaller shops and stores getting shut out. And as larger companies gobbled up some funds, some of them realized that they could actually secure funding elsewhere, like Shake Shack, who say that they've returned millions to the government to help other restaurants that now need it. So what's going to be different for small companies and the millions that they're trying to keep on the payroll? ABC's Steve Osensami has the latest.
Business owner Mary Moore in Atlanta,
welcome to the Cook's Warehouse,
says she's trying her hardest to keep 12 of her best people on the payroll. She's already had to lay off 43.
They rely on this business for their livelihoods, and I rely on them.
She owns the Cook's Warehouse stores and is trying to make the best of sales online. She's applied for government loans but hasn't seen the final paperwork and says the program is unfair to small businesses like hers.
It's really difficult as a small business person to hear how big corporations are getting grants and they're being given money, but I've got this great opportunity to create more debt for my business that, I have to figure out how to pay for in the future.
An Associated Press investigation tonight speaks to this, finding that of the $349 billion in relief meant for small businesses, at least 75 companies that were helped are so big that they're publicly traded, and some had market values greater than $100 million. Big chains like Ruth's Chris got money before the pot ran out last week. Shake Shack, another big guy, gave $10 million back to the government after the outrage. As for that $384 billion in new help for small businesses, at Ben's Chili Bowl, a local institution in the nation's capital, they're still worried.
When we reopen, are we able to seat 50 or 60 or 70 people when you have to have some sort of social distancing, et cetera? So it impacts the entire business all the way around.
Nearly half the nation's workforce gets a paycheck from small businesses like these.
Our thanks to Steve Osunsami. Wisconsin's primary election earlier this month appears to have had some public health consequences. At least 19 new cases of the coronavirus could be potentially linked to the April 7th election. But officials say that several of those people reported other possible exposures as well. They're hesitant to link all the new cases directly to the election, but say that they need more data to get a clearer picture. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports that at least 6 cases involve voters, and one patient was a poll worker in the election, which ultimately went ahead after a series of emergency orders and legal challenges sought to delay the contest during the pandemic. And tonight, that Louisiana pastor who was previously cited for defying the state's coronavirus stay-at-home order, he is facing an aggravated assault charge. Pastor Tony Spell is accused of backing up a bus toward a protester outside of his church. You likely remember him for making headlines for defying Louisiana's emergency order banning public gatherings and then later directing his followers to give their stimulus checks from the federal government to evangelists. Nursing homes across the nation have certainly suffered some of the greatest losses during this COVID-19 outbreak. Among them, the Soldiers' Home in Holyoke, Massachusetts, where all of the residents are veterans, men and women who have survived war, but not this devastating disease. At least 94 veterans and 81 employees have now tested positive just 1 month after the first case was announced in the Soldiers' Home. Our Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Ranitz talked with veterans' family members, and she shares their stories now.
The stated mission at the Soldiers' Home in Holyoke: to care for the aging veterans with honor and dignity.
I am more than grateful and blessed to be, that I made it through, but more grateful and blessed that I'm back with my veterans and doing what I love doing best, is taking care of them.
Joe Ramirez is a certified nursing assistant working in the Soldiers' Home's memory care unit for patients with Alzheimer's and dementia. He's back on the job after battling the virus himself and seeing at least 52 of the facility's some 250 residents now die from COVID-19.
In general, it's been, devastating for all of us. I think, as our veterans, the majority, I don't think had the fighting chance.
Emilio De Palma survived World War II.
He saw his share of horrific things in battle. It's how he died. That's so upsetting.
The 93-year-old lost his battle with coronavirus just last week. Congressman Richard Neal, whose uncle lives at the home and tested positive, said it is no wonder the virus spread so rapidly.
If you visit there, quickly you could see that those individuals sit almost on top of each other, so you could see quickly how this infection would spread.
But the question now, were adequate steps taken to stop the spread? Federal prosecutors and state officials now trying to determine whether the Soldiers' Home violated the rights of residents by failing to provide them adequate medical care generally and during the coronavirus pandemic. The Soldiers' Home saying in a statement that they have assertively responded to the emergency situation and are continually making necessary changes on the ground to protect resident safety.
It's just a shame. It is an absolute shame.
Susan Kenny says the Soldiers' Home should have done more to prevent the spread. Her father, Chuck Lowell, who suffered from dementia, was an Air Force veteran during the Vietnam War. He died just last week.
He wasn't too talkative. I'm guessing, it's just part of the dementia. He just wasn't very chatty, very conversational. He talked more about, just remembering old friends from the neighborhood and different jobs throughout his life.
But Susan was able to be with her father in his final days, her mother as well, both in protective gear.
My mother said, we each sat on one side of the bed, and he held her hand tight the whole time, she said. And she said she wouldn't trade that time for the world. And I know he took every bit of strength he could muster so he could tell me loudly, I love you all.
Dennis Thresher, a Korean War veteran, is still fighting for his life at the Soldiers' Home.
Tell me about your dad. I know he was a Korean War veteran.
He himself has tested negative, although he presented with symptoms of COVID, which, fever and body aches and difficulty breathing. And he stayed in the hospital for 6 days, and he was moved back to the soldiers' home almost a week later, really, really struggling. And I give a lot of credit to the Army colonel there and the team on the ground right now, working their best with these guys and trying to bring them back. I mean, he has a fighting chance right now, and I'm grateful for that.
Grateful for a sign of life in a facility where those within were willing to give their lives for their country during a time of war, only to lose them so many years later to an invisible enemy. I'm Martha Raddatz for ABC News Live in Washington.
Our thanks to Martha. And while so much of our focus is on our physical and fiscal health during this time, this pandemic is also taking a toll on our mental health. And it's important that we get an honest assessment of where our head is in all of this. And in many communities, especially the Black community, there are stigmas at play that can compound the lack of available mental health resources. So here to talk with us about this important issue and some of the ways that we can cope during this difficult time is none other than the one, the only actress, Taraji P. Henson. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Taraji, your foundation, the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation, is offering virtual therapy sessions and raising awareness about the importance and need for mental health services right now. Tell us about this initiative and what inspired you to do it.
Well, what inspired me is knowing that people are out there suffering in isolation. You're already talking about underserved communities. These people, a lot of them have come from traumatic situations, are living in traumatic situations, and now you're talking about quarantining. This is trauma on top of trauma. And, economically, mental health is probably the last thing that's on their list of things to take care of. And also resources. Where do they go? And so because I'm blessed, my father always told me to be a blessing. And so I started this foundation because of the stigma around mental health in the African American community. And I think now is the time, because all we have right now is time on our hands, is to try it if you have reservations, because you're in the comforts of your own home. You don't have to worry about feeling embarrassed or being looked down upon because you're stepping into an office where there are therapists there. So I think it's a good time for people to try it. We're asking for donations to please help. If you text no stigma to 707070, just follow the instructions, or you can follow us on our website, BorisLHensonFoundation.org.
And of course, according to the latest data, Black people in New York City, for example, are twice as likely to die from the virus as white people. So, of course, that can trigger concerns of isolation, fear, people coping with loss. Are people raising their hands and coming forward to get help? And how is this all manifesting itself mentally?
It has been overwhelming, the response. We have hundreds of new therapists that have signed up, and our site actually crashed. We had to recalibrate for 30 minutes because of the overwhelming response. I mean, I have been floating this organization literally on my own, and I'm really asking for anybody. I mean, I have 15 million followers. If everyone gave $1, we are saving lives. This is very, very important, especially in these times, because even once this is over, is said and done, all of us will be traumatized by this. None of us will ever be the same. But I have the luxury of picking up the phone and calling my therapist and not thinking about it. And we're talking about a community that's underserved that will not. And so I'm hoping that my voice and putting a face to it will help.
And you talked about the stigma a bit, but in African-American culture, there seems to be this tradition of kind of keeping your promise to yourself, fighting through it, being tough, not putting your business out on Front Street. Yeah. So what do you think it is about the Black experience in America that makes this idea of therapy such a unique challenge?
Well, I mean, you're talking about an idea that has been passed down for generations. Pray your problems away. You have to be strong. You can't be vulnerable because that's a sign of weakness. If we just shift that thinking and normalize this stigma, I think it will help. I think that's certainly why I put a name and a face to it. I definitely stepped up and shared my personal experiences with, depression and anxiety, hoping to show that it's okay to be vulnerable. It is okay for us to be vulnerable. I don't want to be strong all the time. I can't. It's physically and mentally impossible in today's world.
And what would you say to somebody who, outside of that, what kind of advice would you say about the process itself and how it can be especially beneficial at this time?
I think it's about finding the right therapist, someone who understands your background, where you come from. I think once you find the person that you click with, it's like finding a friend. And I think once you do that, I think you're off to a good start. It took me years to find a therapist that I felt comfortable with, or that got me, or was able to reach me in some way, or give me the proper tools to handle my roadblocks, and it's not going to be easy, but you have to be willing to put that kind of work in to love yourself. One thing I would like to see more men apply. Out of all the applicants right now, we have 71% are women and only 6% men. And I'm just pushing for more men to just please allow yourselves to be vulnerable.
And before we let you go, of course, the season finale of Empire is tonight, but you're not even sure exactly how it's going to end, right? Because you guys still had one more episode to shoot and then COVID canceled that?
Yes, we had an episode and a half to go, and then we were shut down in the middle of the day of production, understandably so.
Right.
But I feel like we deserve to, the audience who has been so loyal to us over these 6 seasons, they deserve a proper ending. So I'm pushing for us to give you that ending eventually one day when all this is passed. But right now, I will be finding out how the season finale, I will be finding out the information the same time you guys will. So I know nothing.
And you have salon quarantine over there. I mean, can't help but notice you got the hair done, nails done, everything did. Is that part of your routine, part of how you've been taking care of yourself?
Yes, taking care of myself, because it's a mental thing. If I lay in the muck and wallow in that all day, then I'll be dark. But if I get up and dress and take care of myself, that it shifts the paradigm and it shifts your thinking,
And before you go, I hope you don't mind us putting up a picture of you that you posted on Instagram the other day. It's getting certainly a lot of attention. You're looking really good, turning 50 this year. Tell us, what is your quarantine workout?
I have a lot of property, and I don't get to go on the hikes anymore, but I have a hike just getting up to my hill, so I'll walk that hill. I have gym equipment. Yeah, I eat good, but I have to pay for it in the gym, so yeah.
All right, Taraji P. Henson, we so appreciate you talking with us. Thanks so much. And a reminder to everybody that you can support her mental health campaign by texting No Stigma to 707070 or go to the website at BorisLHensonFoundation.org. And coming up next, a bright spot from one of the hardest hit countries in Europe as Italy recovers, new signs of hope and a future to look forward to. But first, something a little different and hopefully a little relaxing. The special relationship between humpback whales and their young. A preview of their special Born Wild airing tomorrow on our partners at National Geographic.
We have a mom just below the surface with a calf kind of right up on the nose. Just this, classic, beautiful mom-calf pose that they often do. And she seems very relaxed, she's just kind of chilling on the surface here and her baby right alongside. We've got a calf that's maybe 4 weeks old or so. The mom was down resting, sleeping below, and the calf was sort of doing these shallow dives to her. But now they're right here, right in front of us. Here we go, so they're gonna dive. These Hawaiian waters are one of the best places in the world to see the special relationship between humpback whale moms and calves. These waters are warm, protective, and there's very few predators around. It's a perfect sanctuary for this baby to grow. In just a few weeks, this calf will join mom on her long migration to Alaska. And to prepare, it will drink more than 100 gallons of fat-rich milk every day. Mom dove down, probably going to be down for 15 or 20 minutes. The calf will be up on the surface, circling around, going down and nuzzling with mom. So it's just a beautiful situation. Oh man, they're just having fun. What we're seeing here at this moment is just really special. We've got a very, very playful calf, very relaxed, just tail slapping and pectoral slaps and having fun. But this is also important practice for the future. These slaps and jumps are thought to be part of how whales communicate.
Right now, how do you make sense of it all? Now, afternoons on ABC, one place with the good information you need.
We are all in this together, and we're going to get through this together.
Pandemic, what you need to know. Afternoons at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. Friday nights, 9, 8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt, True Crime, 2020. Friday nights, 9, 8 Central on ABC. ABC News, America's #1 news source. Straightforward news, straight to the heart of the story. ABC News, straightforward. In one place, the vital information, the straightforward facts, what you need to know, helping you protect yourself and your family. ABC News, a team of experts working around the clock for you. Mornings, evenings, late night, 24/7 ABC News Live. Pandemic, your questions answered here.
You hear those sirens echoing throughout Israel on Holocaust Remembrance Day, a solemn day, usually filled with ceremonies, marches, and gatherings, and a 2-minute moment of silence that brings the country to a standstill. But today, those gatherings are happening at a distance. The streets already empty, but healthcare workers on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19 still stopping for a moment to remember. And finally, we'd like to end the show tonight the same way we started it, on a hopeful note. Italy is cautiously on the mend after its long battle, an intense battle with this virus. It was one of the hardest hit countries in Europe, but doctors there are starting to see more of their patients recover. James Longman has this report.
Italy, where the world first truly witnessed the horror of coronavirus. Thousands dying and a health system overwhelmed. This photo became a symbol of Italy's struggle. So many like her continuing the fight, among them cardiologist Silvia Castelletti.
I can see that mark on your nose. Is that from where you've been wearing a mask?
Yes, sorry, I tried to hide it with the makeup.
It's proof of just how hard you're working, I think.
You can see that I'm happy today, and this is because a patient of mine that now has been there for the last almost 4 weeks, and that until 2 weeks ago I was really concerned that he could die. In this last week, is going every day better and better. I feel really happy because this is a compensation for all the work that we have done. This is for me, like a sign that things can go better. Today was the first day in which I took him off the mask. Of course, he was very weak, but it's a big progress. When you see a patient taking off the mask for the first time and you can speak with him and you can hear his voice clearly, I think that's the moment in which you feel rewarded for all your work.
Although there's much to do, she feels Italy has been through the worst.
It has been a really, really, really long journey, and it is not simple for anyone. As now we can see that the numbers are decreasing, and I think that this is what we all were hoping. We know that we have to be very, very watchful, but we hope that we will go back to our life soon.
We saw these doctors fight what seemed at times like a losing battle. But Italy is finally turning a corner, giving way to much-needed moments of levity. And for those patients in the north, brought for treatment in the country's south, gratitude and some humour.
Ho imparato a mangiare la supplessata qua. Quindi probabilmente quello che mi ha fatto guarire dal Covid.
In scary and uncertain times, we look for the helpers to get us through. Francesco Holmes stepped up, volunteering to help those on the margins, aiding the homeless during the crisis.
So I'm proud of that. I want to say I'm proud only of Italy. I'm proud of
of how people have responded, really. And there's a lot of beauty in it. And this is a moment where you understand what is important. You have this feeling where what can I do? Well, can I do something constructive? So there's many people that have volunteered.
Elsewhere in Europe, as the virus is contained, a tentative hope spreads slowly in its place. At this Danish school, kids are back at their individual desks.
Do you like being back at school?
Yes.
You do?
And at this beauty parlour, nails, massage and facial treatments enjoyed once again. Strange sights in an age of social distance, perhaps. It's the kind of life Italy can hope to see soon if trends continue in their favour. The road to recovery will be long, but for Sylvia, her recovering patient is a symbol of hope for the future.
We are joking that when everything will finish, it will offer me a very, very nice pizza because it's from Naples. And so it will cook a real pizza for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
James Longman for ABC News Live.
Our thanks to James for all of that hope. Before we go tonight, a rare sight these days, a baseball game being played. Preseason baseball now underway without fans in Seoul, South Korea today. Just the players, the umps, and some lonely camera operators. Here in the U.S., the MLB is still trying to determine just how to possibly save the season, but we would definitely take this, our image of the day. That is our show for this hour. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us, and good night.